Alright, let's lay out a NAND gate. As always, we'll start out with our open library. Then we'll go over here and save library as, and this will be version 10. And now we want to create a new cell, which is a NAND layout. So we'll generate a new cell, layout, NAND _2, and we see we've got our schematic, we've got our icon, and we've got our layout. So if I recall, my NAND gate is made with a 10 by 2 two 10 by 2 PMOSs and a 10 by 2 NMOS, two 10 by 2 NMOSs. So let's go ahead and put down our before we do that, why don't we go ahead and add our basic inverter in here. Let's hit fit, and then now let's view that. And generally, you want, when you're laying things out, you want to be able to connect power and ground up by simply running connections between conductors that are at the same relative position. So let's try to make our NAND gate have the same VDD and ground that we have, levels that we have here in this inverter. So I'm going to go go to my components and drop my NMOS device in here, Control I, my width is 10, apply, set the spice model, and zoom in and select that, use Control and select, Control I, and the spice model's NMOS, fit. And we drew this transistor with the poly going up. We could draw these with the poly. Yeah, why don't we do that? So we'll go ahead and rotate, Control J. Let's rotate this node. Just see that if we pull this over, yeah, it's the same size. So since I know I need two of these, excuse me, I'll just go ahead and copy this, Control copy. Drop, whoops, Control V, drop this down, fit, zoom in here. Now these two transistors are in series, but before I do anything, I'm going to do a DRC, and I might have an error here because the selects are too close, but let's find out. Nope, no errors. Well, let's make us have an error. Let's do the error now, F5. Still no error. How about now? F5. Two errors. And so we look, and selects, just like we said, are too close. And yep, the two selects are too close. Now I can fix this by connecting these two transistors together, but just as a little information for you, let's go to the pure nodes and go to end select. Drop this down in, do a Control I, increase the size to, let's see, what's the size? So these are 10 and it extends 2 beyond, so that would be 14. So our Y size will be 14. Apply. And let me zoom in and just see what the size is. Now if you recall, if I click over here, and I turn off, it's allowing me to get that node. I drag that up, hit fill or fit, and then hit F5. No errors because I put the select in between to minimize that error, but I'm going to get rid of that, and we'll just have our two transistors there, and I'll connect them up in a moment. And just to make sure that these are the right height, let's go down here, and actually let's turn the grid on. Alright, looking good. Another thing we can do at this point, let's just put the PMOS down first. So we put our PMOS down, Control I, they're also 10, apply, Okay, we'll do a set spice model. PMOS. Go down here. Control I. PMOS. Fit. And rotate. Control J. Oops, select the node. Control J. Then Control C. Click over here. Control V. Put these up. And let's zoom in on them. And yeah, let's leave it like that for the moment. Alright, so I'm going to go back now and look at my schematic. And I know my NMOS are in series and connected to ground, so I'm going to tie those together first. So let's go to our layout. And our NMOS are in series, so zoom in here. Actually, let's get rid of this layout just so it's easier to see for the moment. Let's turn the grid off. And then let's connect these up. So I left click and then right and connect them, and I can go over and pull those together. Hit F5. 2 errors. Let me guess, it's these two up here. Nope. Let's pull these over. Shift. What does that say? I have a notch there and I can't see it. Pull it over a little more. Hit F5. Alright. So my selects overlap and I've got my 2 transistors in series. Now I need to connect one side to ground of the transistors, so I'm going to go ahead and put down this is the P well, and of course if we're not using the P well we still draw it just to make our layouts more generic. But I put my P well contact, where is that? Right here. Drop that down in, and you know what? I need that other cell, so let's put the inverter in here. Just drop it in, view it. Just make sure that it's things are lined up. Zoom in. Looking good. Control G. Fit. Go down here. And then I can move this over just to make sure it's lined up. Alright, fit. Let's go ahead and nuke that then. And then Control I. And my X position, let's just put 15. Apply. Oops. 15, apply. Move this over. That's not wide enough. Let's go 20, apply. Or I guess I could measure it. Put that down. Let's close that for a moment. And we need to go 1 there, or half there, and a half there. So let's do a Control I and go 21. Okay. Z. Fit. Zoom. Yeah, it looks like we need to go 20.75 to line everything up. Or, you know what we can do instead? Is we can hit fit. Move this over a little bit. Zoom down in, and it's all lined up. Turn the grid off. Do a DRC. We might have an error down there. Nope. Now, what I'm going to do is I can connect I can't connect the active here down because this is N plus and this is P plus. So I'm going to go put my N active connection here, then right click and drag it over, then move this over. And actually, there's several ways I can do this at this point. Let's hit F5. No errors. Let's go ahead and left click right and drag that down. Yeah, we'll leave it like this. I'm going to have to make this wider. Okay, so let's do a Control I, change the size of that in the Y direction to 10 roughly. Apply, close, zoom. Okay, looking good. Do an F5, no errors. Fit. Let's go up and make this a little wider so I can, actually before we do that, let's put another inactive contact here, and then right click, drag it over, pull this over, Control I, Y size 10, apply, move this up a little. I think I'm off a little. I am. Oops. Okay, pull it all the way over. And I think I might be able to pull this one over a little. Let's DRC. Okay, fit. Notice I don't need a connection in here because that's the node in between the two MOSFETs right here. Alright, so let's do a DRC one more time. No errors. So let's just zoom in on this. Do a Control G. Look at the grid. So I need to come over 1, 2, 3. 3 on both sides, I would guess. Oh, I need to move this one up a little. Fit. And change this, Control I. So I'll go 27, 3 on each side. Apply. Looks like I may be off a little down here. Huh. Expand a little. Move that over. Fit. F5. Okay, no errors. Turn the grid off because I'm getting dizzy looking at that. While we're here, let's go ahead and export this node. GND. And now we're ready to connect up our PMOS. And before I do any of that, I'm going to take a look at my schematic, and I notice my drains of my PMOS are tied to the top drain of the NMOS, which goes to my A NAND B. And then my gates are tied together. So I'll come over here, take a look. Let's see, I need to have these two nodes tied together, which go to the output. And then these two nodes go up to VDD. So what I'm going to do is I need to minimize the capacitance on the output node. So I could tie these two nodes to the output, but I'm going to connect these together and try to minimize the capacitance right here. So I'll move, whoops, I'll move this node over. Then I'm going to put down my N active. I'm going to right click. Whoops, that's not right. I need P active. We just saw the well. I'm going to right click and drag over there. I'm going to right click and drag over there. I'm going to move this here. Let's get it closer. Move this here. Get it closer. Let's move it all over. And hit fit. Zoom in here. Move, whoops. Move this over. Move it up a little. Move it over. Control. Move that over in the middle. And I think that's symmetrical. Let's see how many errors we have. 3 errors. Alright, let's see what they are. Shift. P transistor less than 1/4. Okay, so we need to move this over a little. Move this one over a little. Press Control till I get that node. Let's see what happens. F5. 2 errors now. Shift. Spacing, node, P transistor layer less than quarter the active cut. Okay, I think. And let's move that over just to see. F5. 2 errors. Now the notch, so we can go in here, Control I, change that Y size to 10, apply, close that, bring it on down, hit F5. Okay, it DRC'd correctly. I can probably move this over a little, but I'm going to leave it the way it is. To make my wells have the same size, I could do something. I could put a pure node over and have my wells have the same size, but it's DRCing correctly. So I'm going to move this over a little bit, center it up. Actually, I wonder if I can slide this over, because that would be nice for, let's DRC that. Okay, it's DRC, no error. So let me see if I can left click, pull down. And let's see if I can slide that over just a little more. Still no errors. And let me see, I could slide this one over, I guess. But I don't want to make this part wider. So instead I'm going to come down. Yeah, I like symmetrical layouts. So why don't I slide that back over there. And then come over here, right click. Down, over, and down. Oh, yeah, let's DRC that. 2 errors. Shift. Yeah, of course. Okay, so let's slide this over. I got a feeling there's a select error problem too, but let's see. No errors. Alright, so yeah, I could have sped it up. I can move this up a little, I guess. And let's Control Z that. Delete. Oops, Control Z. Select the wrong thing. Let's delete that. And then right click, go up a little bit. Over. Yeah, I'm wasting time. I just like nice looking layouts. Okay, slide that over a little. Okay, good enough. And last but not least, let's put our N-well contacts up here. And I'll just drop that in, and I'm going to go ahead and copy over my layout here. Drop it down, view it, slide it down there, zoom in, Control G, looking good, fit. And I'm going to go ahead up here, and I'm going to put my contact in. Control I, and let's put our X sizes, what is it, 27, apply, and then zoom in and see. And I need to slide this down a little and up. I think that's right, fit. Slide it over a little. Okay, delete this, we're lined up. Whoops, Control Z, let's make sure I'm lined up before I actually do delete that. Looking good. So I can left click and drag, and that looks good. Left click and drag, and that looks good. Control Z a couple times. Whoops. Control Y for redo, and then delete this. Fit, and now we can go up here and connect that node up. Export this, Control E, VDD. So now I can export these. Before I do that, why don't I do one other thing? We need to connect these nodes together. So we need to put the P active in. So here's our, or I'm sorry, N active rather. So let's connect that up. Oops, that's wrong. PMOS, yeah, P active. I had it right the first time. And right click over, and then P active, right click over, and then drag this in here. Drag this in here. Set these Control I to 10. Apply. Apply. We need to connect those together. Let's do a DRC, see how many errors we have. One error. Shift, where is it? Oh yeah, that's not connected anywhere. So let's go ahead and put a pure layer of NWell. Drag that over here. Control I. Make it X size 27. Y size. Y size is fine. Apply. Oh. Need to go wider than 27, looks like. How about 37? Apply. 30. Apply. I guess I could look in there and not waste time. Okay, so and this layout again, I'm such a stickler for nice looking layouts. Let's fix it. So that looks fine. Okay, it needs to come over 1 here. Notice I can't get that, so I gotta go to the special select. So I need to change this Control I to 33. Apply. Move this over. Fit. Zoom in here. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, just to fit. I'm going to try to clean up the layout. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these connections. Delete them. Just so there I don't have to fight with those connections when I'm F5. No errors. So I'm going to go tighten this up. So I'm going to slide, zoom in here. Turn the grid off. Control G. I'm going to slide this MOSFET over a little bit. Slide this down and over a little. Keep going, see how close I can get. If I can slide this over even more. Let's see, I don't think that's going to DRC, but we'll try it anyway. 3 errors. F5, so let's do a shift. Yeah. Okay, so that's a problem. So let's try moving this over. F5. Alright, so that worked. Okay, this needs to come up a little bit, looks like. F5, fit. Oops, why does it show that? Oh, because I still have a little bit of a variation there. Okay, so fit, F5, alright. Now I can move this over, I guess, and make a connection. I'm going to wait on that. And then I'm going to come over here and slide this over. Let's zoom in so I can see. Slide this over till as far as I can go. Slide this one over as far as I can go. Do an F5. One more time, no errors. See, I wonder if I can go even tighter. F5. And I'm sure I'll get an error here. Yep. Okay, so let's move that back over. F5. Okay, no error there. Let's move this one over a little. F5. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, I could split these apart. Just to get the layout done, I'm really being controlling here, I guess. Fit, and I can make the width of this a little wider, play with it so it lines up. Since I'm taking a lot of time here, I'll just go ahead and finish it so we can move on or get the layout done. So I can connect this, run a wire over, and up. There, we'll do an F5, see if I made any errors. 5 errors, let's see what they are. Shift. What does that say? Maximum cut. Bigger than 2 wide, so let's zoom in there. Oh, how did I do that? Let's delete that. Control I. Oops, let's set the node. Control I. Apply. Oh, I know what I did. Oops, wrong thing. I put a node there, so let's go up, do that. Okay, fit. Do an F5. Okay, no errors. So let's go over here. Right click, up. Let's put a metal 1 pin here. Drag it over. Then let's pull this over. Just slide it over. I'm going to go ahead and export that. Control E. A NAND B. Now I'm going to connect my inputs together. So I'll put a poly pin. And there's lots of ways for me to do this. Let's just make it easy on ourselves. And then right click and down here, let's just verify that it DRCs. And then let's export this and call this one. Let me see, that goes to the bottom NMOS. And then this, hopefully I did that right, goes to the, one of the PMOS. So the bottom NMOS is connected to B. So I'll export this node, Control I, as, Control E as B. And then we'll come up here, right click, go and do a DRC, no errors. Okay. Then come over here, drop this down, pull it over, and down there. Oh, I got a feeling that's going to give me an error because the poly's too close to the active, but let's see. Yep. Okay, so let's do a Control Z on there a few times. Let's move this pin up a little bit. Right click. Okay, so this is an area where I'm fighting with that pure layer. So I'm going to go ahead and, Control Z, turn that off. So see how turning off the special select helps me so I don't fight with it. So this would be B. So I do a Control E for export, A, and then save it before I go too much further. This is kind of a fast layout. I'd take more time with it if I was doing it for an actual part, but good enough for now. Do my DRC, no errors. Do my ERC, no errors. Do my NCC, well, this is the one that matters. And my exports in my schematic, my ground and VDD are implied. In my layout, I actually exported those. So the layout's fine. So we're going to go ahead and quit here. And there's the layout of a NAND gate.